Toyota Supras are expensive. We're going to talk about building a cheaper one. Welcome back to another episode of ModStars. I'm your host Z. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And we're going to talk about the Lexus IS, SC, and GS300s. What these all have in common? They all have two JZ engines. What these all have in common? They're not turboed. Another thing they have in common? They're all cheap. From when I made this video, I've found these for anywhere from $4,500 to $8,500. And the IS300 comes with a VVTi 2JZ engine producing 215 horsepower, 218 pound-feet of torque, weighs 3,270 pounds, has a 5-speed automatic transmission. The GS300 also has a VVTi 2JZ all-motor, producing 220 horsepower, 220 pound-feet of torque, weighs 3,638 pounds, has the same 5-speed automatic transmission. And lastly, the Lexus SC300 has a non-VVTi 2JZ, producing 228 horsepower, 210 pound-feet of torque, weighs 3,560 pounds, has a 4-speed automatic transmission. Some things you want to check before you start building and modding everything is make sure the master flow sensor is clean, inspect the factory air box, make sure there's no cracks in it, inspect the coil packs, clean the throttle body plate. This will keep the car in good condition and have good power even in stock form. Now, another thing you want to check also is the oil pump and make sure if you have to replace this that the oil pump bypass isn't sticking. I'll leave links in the description for these videos as well so you understand what I'm talking about. Another thing, which is also kind of a mod in a way, is the crank damper pulley. You can go ahead and, if you're going to build this anyway, just get the ATI super damper. It's about $380. That being said, let's get into the mods. So, I'm going to get a wideband O2 sensor and adapter, and this goes anywhere from about $120 for the O2 sensor and $30 for the adapter. VAG short coil packs for $300. The 2JZ GTE, as in the Turbo Supra engine head gasket, for $108. As far as the intake manifold, you don't necessarily need it, but if you want it to make more power, Excess Power has an intake manifold. However, you will have to weld the runners to this. The lower intake manifold runners, you can use the factory ones, or Delta Racing has adapter runners for $324. And for a standalone, there's an EMU Black for $1,200. And there's also a plug-and-play harness for $850. Other than that, we're going to move on to more engine internals and fuel systems with the ARP head studs for $170. Wobroll 450 fuel pump for those who want to run flex fuel, it's $185. And also we have the RMR 75mm throttle body for $300. And for the transmission, we're looking at level 10 with transmissions for high stall torque converters or even built transmissions. IPT is another good source as well. But again, with IPT, as I mentioned in previous videos, you're going to pay for an entire transmission, which is anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000, which is normal. And as far as just the level 10 torque converter, if you want to do this as budget as possible, it's about $700. Also, Summit Racing has a transmission cooler for $125 and a Transgo shift kit for $70. As far as the turbo kit goes, we're talking about the CX Racing turbo kit that comes with everything: the turbo, the downpipe, the intercooler, wastegates for $2,400. It's also going to be a fuel line that we're going to need for an extra, honestly, $3, along with the Fuel Lab fuel pressure regulator for $200. IDX 1050 injectors for $780. And for the differential, we actually don't need to swap an LSD in there from like Quaife or any other LSD. You can convert one for $300, which is pretty cool. And of course, we have to stop. So you can get the EBC brake kit from the pads and the rotors for $380. Now, everything that I included here, the price will vary with the cars and the parts, not including labor. We're looking at anywhere from $10,175 to as high as $17,970. And based on the parts that I mentioned, this is good for anywhere from 400 to over 600 horsepower. And of course, depending on your budget, you could just do the bare minimum, run like 6 to 8 pounds of boost. You're going to hit that high 300, 400 horsepower mark. Now, why does this matter? Because Supras used right now go anywhere from 75 to 170 grand. Doesn't matter if it's stock or modified, automatic or manual, turbo, non-turbo, any Mark IV Supra you look at right now is anywhere from 75 grand to 170 grand or more. I just saw one that goes for about $349. And to put that in perspective, talking just cars, that's like a Aventador MSRP, or even if you're able to negotiate it, a 6x6 AMG. I get that they're classics and they're collectors, but my goodness, that's a lot going on there. I mean, for 350 grand, think about the builds that you can do, the cars that you can have, whether they're stock or modded. And if you're going to buy one for that price, well, honestly, it's going to be in a museum. So this is what you can do on a budget. And technically it's a 2J and now it's turboed. So it's a Supra with a suit on it. You get all the creature comfort still. It's luxury and it's sleeper and it's on a budget. Hope you enjoy. Like, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you think. If you don't know, now you know, but do what you want to do.